Hello, welcome to SC Game Talks. Today we talk about the Manchester derby that is going to take place tomorrow on the Super Sunday of the Premier League. It's going to be a very interesting game between Manchester United and Manchester City. So what we've got here is Rúben Amorim, and here of course Pep Guardiola, who has been so down from last season and until now, and of course Rúben Amorim as well, despite coming to the club and making so many changes, but yet it's not moving the way everyone expected them. He himself expects things to change. We're going to be having tomorrow the game between these two coaches right here. But there is something so interesting between these two coaches. Pep Guardiola, from last season and up to now, he has been so struggling. And this season he actually started very well, and people were like, okay, sure. Manchester City is back again. Pep Guardiola has found the formula again, but still, at the end of the day, he lost it. Before the international break, he just lost point to Brighton Albion. And we're going to take a look at Amorim as well, who has been struggling. He has so far kicked out about 6 players in the club and decided on which players he needs to work with. But so far, so bad again for Rúben Amorim. So let's take a look at some players that are injured in the side of Manchester City, and it's going to be very devastating for Pep Guardiola tomorrow. We're starting first with Oumar Mahmood. So this guy had a bruised knee ligament from the international break on duty with Egypt. You know, he picked up this injury when he was playing for the international side. He's going to be missing this game tomorrow with Manchester United. And if you take a look at this guy, his performance ever since he came, he is one of the key players for Pep Guardiola. I mean, Pep Guardiola was putting so much trust in Oumar Mahmood, but if he's injured tomorrow, Pep Guardiola has just one choice to play like a striker, which is going to be Erling Haaland. And then we're going to see here as well a knock injury, but it's unspecified, from Sauvignon. Sauvignon as well has been a very good and a key player to Pep Guardiola this season, and he's going to be out tomorrow as well for a few weeks. So it's very sure that he's not going to be starting, or he's not going to be playing against the Manchester derby tomorrow. And so we're gonna say Sauvignon right here, starting from last season, how he played, his contribution to the team on the side of Pep Guardiola, and all what he did, you know, is something that we actually really expected him to be, you know, a very good player this season and helping the club as well, especially in this time that the club still has not found a formula of winning the games back again. And then here we're gonna see John Stones, one of his key defender, who is on injury as well for muscle problems, but he's been pulled out of the England national team. He didn't even, you know, attended the national team game, so it's doubtful for the upcoming matches if he's going to play. But for sure, tomorrow John Stones is not going to feature in the Manchester derby, and it's going to be a very big threat to, you know, Pep Guardiola tomorrow. As he's been losing a lot of games, he's expecting to get these players and, you know, bring them together to see what he can do. But injuries as well, adding to the fact that Rodri was injured last season and he kept complaining about that. With all this one, it's going to be a psychological defeat for Pep Guardiola. And then they see here Cherki. I must say that this Cherki is going to be the most important player for Pep Guardiola so far this season, because as soon as this guy stepped into Manchester City, his determination was so much so that you could see that he's developing to be one of the best players for Pep Guardiola, and his desire to play for Manchester City was so good. But now he's been injured. It's going to be a very big challenge for Pep Guardiola. So far, he has a muscle injury. It's going to be a long-term one, but the lay-off dates are still not available. So that means it's going to be something more than a month or so. So with this injury for Ryan, it's going to be so bad for Pep Guardiola tomorrow. So far he has got Oumar Mahmood, his best, and then Cherki as well with John Stone. And then we're gonna see here he's actually recovering Mateo Kovacic. You know, he was out for almost a season, and now he has recovered. I think he's taking part of the training. He's taking part in the training, but he's not guaranteed or sure that he is going to be playing the derby tomorrow as well. Talking about Mateo Kovacic, he was very important last season for Pep Guardiola, despite the fact that they didn't perform. But his key goals, you know, some goals that he scored last season, the role he played was so good, and I think he could be very much needed so far this season. with the challenges that Pep is facing. I think he could be very, very much needed this season to play, some games. And then we see here Rico Lewis as well, a very young, talented guy who we were expecting that Pep Guardiola is going to use to do a lot of things for the club, and his interest as well was so good. So now it's been said that he has discomfort, physical discomfort, and he's recovering though, but it's doubtful that tomorrow he's going to be part of the derby. So far you've got Oumar Mahmood, you've got Cherki, you've got Lewis, and then you've got John Stones, and of course Mateo Kovacic. All of them are going to be missing out tomorrow in this derby, which is going to be so bad for Pep Guardiola. And this is I think the lineup that Pep Guardiola should surely use. Of course, we're going to know he's going to start with Haaland, Jeremy Doku, and if Phil Foden as well, just coming back, if he's fit, Phil Foden right here is going to be starting, or he's going to come off the pitch, the bench to play. But there is a problem between these two players right here. Haaland is a very perfect striker that can score from anywhere. He just needs to make sure he gets the ball crossed into the box, and he's very dangerous in that. You look at his height, the way he finishes the ball, he's very good. That one can be trusted and guaranteed that he can perform very well when you have someone to supply the ball. But the problem is that they do not match with each other, because Jeremy Doku right here likes to keep the ball and bring the ball closer before giving an assist. He doesn't really cross the ball as much as Phil Foden right here or other players, but Haaland right here is someone who actually needs more crosses into the box, and it could be very, very dangerous. So these two pairs is something that is going to disturb Pep Guardiola tomorrow. If not for these three, we're gonna see here these young guys right here. We've got Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva can actually really be of a good help tomorrow. And then Reinders right here as well with Oscar Bobs has been starting, and his play has been so good. I mean, the way he plays, controls the ball, but the finishing is lacking in Manchester City. That's the only thing, because these strikers, I think he's got Doku, he's got this Oscar Bobs. All these players love keeping the balls to themselves. They don't like, he needs someone who's going to give crosses into the box like Mohamed Kudus or Brian Mbeumo or so for Haaland to get the job done. Reinders as well, I'm expecting that maybe he's going to start today. So tomorrow, for sure, if Pep Guardiola is not starting like so, but it's very guaranteed that Haaland and Jeremy Doku are going to be starting, and then we're going to come here to get Reinders and Oscar Bobs and maybe surely Silva right here as well. So let's move down to this point. So last season, Pep Guardiola kept complaining that he's not on top form. He loses his playing formation because Rodri was injured. Okay, so now Rodri won the Ballon d'Or last season, which means he's actually the world best midfielder or the world best player right there. Okay, now he's back. He's played a couple of games. I think it's right time for him to prove to the world the trophy, the Ballon d'Or, was really deserved by him by doing what? Saving Pep Guardiola in every game. He has played a couple of games, and then we expect him to do more better, because when he played in the last game before they were defeated as well, I believe that maybe he's trying to pick up because of the injury things. But if Rodri actually really want to prove a point here, I think this is the time. He actually really do need to save Pep Guardiola from all these crazy things he's been going through. Pep Guardiola really needs Rodri to play now this season. And so we're going to move into the derby that's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting game tomorrow between Manchester United and Manchester City. But let's talk a little bit about Manchester United as well. Manchester United not in good form because of Rúben Amorim. I think Rúben Amorim is doing a lot, but he's not doing as well what is necessary. When you take a look at this guy, if you count the number of players that he has just kicked out of Manchester United, kind of like six young talent that not willing to play under Manchester United because of his decision making and all whatnot. But now you've got players that you wanted. You sent out Andre Onana, he was the main problem in the goal post, and now he's no longer there, and Garnacho is no longer there, and all whatnot. All these players have left you, and you've demanded for Brian Mbeumo. He's there. You've got Cunha, and you've got Bruno Fernandes, and you've got all these other players. Now what next? Are you willing to deliver to Manchester United fans, or are you still going to find excuses now that Andre Onana is not there, now that Garnacho is not there, and now that Rashford is no longer there? Are you going to deliver to Manchester United fans, or what excuses are we going to be hearing so far or right now? And tomorrow we're going to be watching him playing this derby. We're going to be expecting to see what and how he's going to tackle Pep Guardiola in this derby. But however, we are not looking only onto this derby, we are looking on more games, because it's a disappointing fact that right here Manchester United is having a 3-2 win over Burnley, who was just maybe promoted, and he's celebrating like they won a trophy. It's a 3-2 win. I mean, he shouldn't have even considered goals from Burnley, but it was something not really promising for the Manchester United fans, and so far this season he has not been performing as expected. But however, we look up to see what he's going to bring to us tomorrow to challenge Pep Guardiola in the Manchester derby. If you're just joining us, subscribe to our channel and see you in the next video.